Welcome to the Afterspin, opinions from thought leaders in our state. I want to ask Cash Michaels and Joe Mavretic, as we hear our state budget might have a $4 billion deficit, several legislators are suggesting that now might be the time to put a $3.1 billion bond referendum on the ballot in November for roads, schools, the universities, and community colleges. What's your reaction to this proposed legislation, Joe?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't support a bond referendum for roads until the General Assembly addresses and changes the way highway funds are raised. I don't talk to anybody who doesn't say we have to connect mileage and the tonnage or the weight of the vehicle in a system for collecting taxes that way rather than at the gasoline pump. For the school system, I don't see in this economic time a place to change funding for schools until schools begin to demonstrate, I'm talking about public schools now, until public schools begin to demonstrate that what they are teaching prepares people to work in the workforce, to have a good productive life, and to enjoy life. And I think until the university system gets some skin in the game for what the product that they deliver, that they don't rate a single penny more.
I think I'm getting a tone that you would not be in favor of this $3.1 billion bond referendum. Cash, where do you stand?
I don't know what to say after all of that. But I will tell you this. It wasn't long ago where Democrats had proposed a $3.9 billion referendum, and I believe the governor was on board too. I'm impressed by the fact that Republicans now, I think House Speaker Tim Moore is one of the leaders of wanting this $3.1 billion referendum put on the ballot. I mean, very clearly we have needs. And all due respect to what Joe has put on the table, which I respect, by the way, because he's been there and done that. Nonetheless, if not now, when? These things have to be dealt with. I think North Carolina still has a AAA bond rating, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, please correct me. And it's best for them to take advantage of that and borrow what they can to get done what needs to get done now. Better now than never, but of course the people have to decide.
We talked about needs so far as it goes, and I agree with you. There are needs there. But we also learned this past week or so that many of our local governments are in very desperate financial situations. I'm thinking about Terrell County particularly, that built and expanded the water system based on a prison being located there. The prison closed up. They can't make the payments on their bonds. Or what we're saying here, not now, but maybe later? And do you think, Joe, that the people of North Carolina would vote in favor of a bond referendum?
I would be surprised if the general public, given the current economic status of the state, so many people out of work, money coming from the federal government to relieve some of that, to ask people, hey, let's have another $3.1 billion bond business. I just don't think the timing is good at all. The other thing is that the accrued liabilities of not only the state of North Carolina, but counties and municipalities in North Carolina absolutely need to be addressed. And I see not one word that addressed those extraordinary issues.
Cash, do you think the people would vote for a bond referendum right now?
I think they would, because I think it's not. I think they actually see the deficiencies, the fragmented infrastructure around them with roads and schools, et cetera, et cetera. I think they see it every day. Getting back to your point about Terrell County, that is North Carolina's least populated county. 40% of the population is African American, and no less than Secretary Falwell, our secretary or our treasurer, I believe, has asked the governor to indeed pay that bill of what, over $300,000 that is looming over them right now.
Well, they got a reprieve for a little while, but the truth of the matter is that under the state's current financial situation and given our AAA credit rating, I don't think you'll ever see a locality default on a bond. Do you, Joe? I think the state
Okay.
would step in and make it right.
No, I don't. Well, the state has to, because all municipalities and counties in North Carolina are creatures of the state.
Right.
They belong to us. It's kind of like mamas and daddies and their children. And so we couldn't let Tyrrell go belly up because of this. But my point is that we have so many unfunded liabilities in North Carolina that trying to raise $3.1 billion simply to cover up the lack of decision-making at the General Assembly and in the executive branch is not wise government.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how well that plays out. Thank you for watching the After Spin. We'll have more video all during the week on ncspin.com.